Hello and welcome to Sampling in Logic Pro Part 1, a Digital Media Academy how-to. My name is Tyler Winnick, and I'm the lead instructor for digital audio and music courses here at Digital Media Academy. In this how-to, we will cover what sampling is, the legal aspects of sampling, and tempo match sampling. Here are the basic system requirements needed to run Logic Pro 9. To purchase your copy of Logic Studio, visit www.apple.com/logicpro. Let's get started. Sampling is the art of using existing material, whether it be music, sound effects, movie sound bites, and so on, to create something different and unique. It's in fact illegal to use a piece of copyrighted material that you do not have the rights or permission to use. There are many artists that break these laws, though, and debates about this through the Fair Use Act. Girl Talk is an electronic artist who uses tons of samples in his music, and he states that because he only uses such small pieces of the songs and mashes them with others, that he is covered by the Fair Use Act. This is up for debate, but if you want to license a use of a sample, you'll need to contact the owner of the copyright or the publishing company. Simply put, get it licensed or sample at your own risk. Alright, so now that we know about sampling and the law, let's actually jump into Logic and sample something. The first way we're going to sample is to cut a short piece from some music, make sure it's a perfect length, then match our project tempo to that, and loop it. That way we're able to add a bunch of other elements over the top and create a new song. Here in Logic, I have a song that I found on archive.org. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, now that's pretty old-timey, but right around 1 minute and 14 seconds, there's a really cool break that I want to sample. Check it out. So when I heard that, I thought, wow, I can really make something cool and unique with that. So let's get started. Now, the first thing I want to do is zoom in on that area. Now, the fastest way to do that is hold Control and Option, and you notice your pointer turns into a zoom tool, and you can kind of click and drag and select around that area. Now, if I play back here, notice it starts right around there. That's my first downbeat in the region, and it ends somewhere around here. All right, so I want to cut that piece out. Now, to do that, I need to grab my marquee tool. If I hit Escape on my keyboard, my tool palette pops up, and I can choose the marquee tool down here. Now, what the marquee tool allows me to do is select portions of a region without actually making any cuts or anything. My sample starts somewhere around here, so I can just click and drag to where I think it ends. And notice it highlighted that area. That means there's a selection there. So if I push spacebar, it's going to play from the beginning of the selection and stop at the end so that I can demo or hear what I've got. So let's listen. Now that's pretty close. But if I want to fine-tune this selection, I can use some really nifty keyboard shortcuts to do that. If I would like to move the left side of this selection, I could hold the Shift key on my keyboard and then use the left and right arrow keys to move it that way. So I want to move it to the right. So if I do that, notice I'm doing Shift right arrow. You can see it at the bottom. I'm doing Shift right arrow till it's right at the beginning of that downbeat there. So if I hit spacebar, right on the beginning. So now if I want to move the right side of my selection, I'm just going to use the left and right arrow keys by themselves. So maybe something right around there. So now I've chosen what I think is 4 bars of this loop. Now I want to choose a perfect length section, whether it be 1 bars, 2 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars. Now I know that this section is 4 bars because I counted it. Now if you want to count with me, this is how you do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. Perfect 4-bar loop. Okay, so now that I have this selected, I want to see if that loops properly. Now to do that, I come up here to my toolbar, and I choose the Set Locators button. Notice how when I did that, a green cycle was created for me based on the length of my selection. So if I hit spacebar now, so that's how you can test if your selection is a perfect length, if it loops. So now I want to cut this out. To do that, I hit escape, go to my pointer tool, and simply click on my selection. Notice how it made a cut in the region right there and right there. What's really cool about that is now I know that this is a 4-bar section that I can match. So I want to delete the rest of the regions that are outside of this and then move this to the beginning of my project. Now the best way to do that is to zoom out, Control Option left arrow, and then drag this a little past the beginning of your project. If you drag a region just past the beginning and then you let go, it'll automatically snap it to the very first bar, the very first downbeat of your project. And now what I want to do is Command Option right arrow and zoom in on this region and then create a perfect 4-bar cycle here in the top half of the bar ruler. Now to do that, I just click and drag across and then create a perfect 4-bar cycle. Okay, I had to adjust it a little bit on the right by just dragging the edge there. Notice how in the tooltip up there it says length 4000. That means 4 bars perfectly. Bam. Okay? Now you'll notice that the region is a little shorter than 4 bars here. Doesn't match up properly. So what I want to do is adjust my tempo so that this region is then 4 bars. Now if I want to see how long this region is, the length of this region, I can mouse over the bottom right-hand corner, notice how I get a bracket, and click and hold with my mouse. A little tooltip pops up, and at the very bottom right-hand corner, you see how it says 330197? Now what those numbers stand for is bars, beats, divisions, ticks. It's a visual indicator of how long your region is. What I want this region to say when I click and hold on the bottom right-hand corner is 4000. Now to do that, I'm going to change my Logic Project tempo, not the length of the region itself. So to do that, I come down here to my transport bar and I drag my tempo up or down. Right now we're at the tempo of 120 beats per minute. So if I zoom out here and I drag this, click and drag up or down, notice how when I let go, the region appears to change in length, but the project tempo is changing. The region is staying the same. I'm just adjusting how fast my project is playing back. Now this can be a little tedious, but the workflow is check your length. Oh, it's 3330. I'm not quite there. Let me speed my tempo up a little bit. All right, and you keep doing that until you're done. So I went ahead and did that, and now I'm at 126.27 beats per minute. Now if I click and hold on the bottom right-hand corner, notice it says 4000. So what you need to do is fine-tune that until you get right to 4 bars. Now if I go ahead and play my project, you'll notice it loops perfectly. Cool, so I've done this already, and I want to show you an example of once you add loops and things, what it can sound like. So I went into our Apple Loops library over here in the Media tab under Loops, and I just grabbed some drum beats and put it over the top so that you can get an example of what it sounds like. That's what's cool about sampling in Logic Pro. You can cut things up, manipulate them, and then lay down your own beats. But that's just the beginning of what you can do with this powerful tool. So for a week of hands-on music production using Logic Pro, check out Digital Media Academy's music production courses at www.digitalmediaacademy.org.